Hey guys, it is the 21st of November, so we're going to do our 21st Art Sound Off today. I am outside in my beautiful backyard. Behind me is a ditch and some woods, but at least the sun is not completely in my face when I'm facing this way. So today we're talking about art as a service, and there's so many things we can talk about. I'm actually going to avoid art therapy because I don't know anything about it, but I will talk about comics, art education, YouTube, and commissions, since those are all things I actually know a lot about. So one, comics as an art service, comics as a service. We are creating media for you to enjoy, for you to consume, to educate you, to enlighten you, and to help you escape. All of those are services. Yes, you are paying for the physical book, but that is just sort of a nominal payment for the enjoyment you will have later. Comics as a medium are extremely time consuming and usually don't involve large teams, so there isn't much division of labor. If you're an indie, you're pretty much doing everything. I write, I draw, I plan, I lay out, I design, I letter, I designed my font, I redesign fonts, I do promotion, I do sales, I do shows. Right. So, I personally feel that comics, especially web comics that you're reading only for the price of looking at their ads every now and then, please turn off your ad blockers. That is definitely a service because they are not charging you up front. But they are also entertaining you, and entertainment is a service. You are benefiting from the entertainment. If you don't like it, you can go elsewhere. You really don't need to leave nasty comments. So next, we're going to talk about art as education. Now, I have taught in multiple classrooms, starting at SCAD and continuing into my adult life. I've also done numerous panels on art education, most of which were done with my friend and panel partner, Heidi Black. You can find some of those panels here on this YouTube channel. I am super passionate about accessible, affordable art education, especially for comics. Yes, I had the money to pay to move to Savannah, to pay to get my master's degree from SCAD, but when I was at UNO, there were some professors who cared deeply about actually teaching people how to critique and how to have an eye and how to do composition and how to do layout and how to refine their technical skills and how to do perspective and how to do anatomy and how to use the equipment. And then there were professors like both of my hypermedia professors who did not care at all and belonged to the school of figure it out yourself, which is funny because they were pulling a paycheck from the school when many of my favorite teachers were on furlough and doing a better job teaching. Think you know who you are. So art education is not a given. Even if you're paying for it, sometimes you can be severely cheated out of it. So when I was in high school at Hahnville, which is about 15 minutes down the road in Paradis, Louisiana, there were two art classes. There was the talented art class, which I was not a part of, and there was a regular art class. And the regular art class was just sort of known around the school as being this class that you took if you didn't want to actually do work. So I never took art in high school. I was able instead to pursue art education through the internet. It was very nascent in those days. Julie Dillon was actually doing a series of written, I want to show you guys Rams, doing a series of written tutorials, which she was not paid to do. She did that out of the generosity of her own heart. She was a huge inspiration for me and is still a huge inspiration for what I do through her generosity. Her sharing that gave me the springboard to start educating myself. So I really bristle when people refer to themselves as self-taught artists because it's bull. You're a self-educating artist. You went and found resources and brought them to you, but you did not teach yourself. Your brain did not just decide how to do these things. You learned from someone else. Someone else did teach you. When you say you're a self-taught artist, you're negating all of the hard work, sacrifice, effort, and skill that other people are bringing into your lives. And that's just kind of a crappy thing to do. So I do actually feel really strongly about that because I spent so much time doing art education online. But yeah, I was able to educate myself thanks to Jay Dillon, and then from there I was able to find copies of the Fine Artist course and the Fine Artist Comics course, which should have been in my local library but was not, as well as the Andrew Loomis books, which should have been in my local library but was not, and the Glenville Pooh drawing manual, which should have been in my local library but was not. But I was able to find all of those things online, and I've since purchased them via Amazon because now they're accessible and available again. So you don't have a good excuse not to at least get the ebooks because they are available. So art education is important, gives people wings, gives people a chance to escape a situation that may be depressing for them or may be out of their control or may cause them anxiety. It gives them a chance to communicate with others, to share negative and positive things in their lives in a way that does not affect, doesn't hurt others, but may help others grow and help others empathize and grow in compassion. So I am a huge proponent of comic art education for the masses. I think it is a wonderful art form. I think it should be pushed as a form of literature, pushed as something consumed in classrooms, because for many it makes literature much more accessible. I think it is honestly almost the perfect medium because it combines two things I love greatly: illustration with art. I love consuming both. So comics education is paramount to me, even more so than generalized art education. Although I will say that the basic fundamentals are just not properly taught. Anatomy, construction, perspective are often skimped out on. So I would really like to see more artists taking the time to not only learn those things, because a lot of people just sort of do it by ear, and then when things look weird, they don't understand why. But I would also like to see more of us focus on teaching that. And I'm going to work hard in the next year to, let me see if I can get the cat on cam because she's so dang cute. I'm going to work harder in the upcoming year to get more tutorials on how to do those things traditionally available to you guys, because that's really important to me. Those were the skills that were skipped out on the most, and those were the skills that, because I didn't have them, my drawing didn't progress for 10 years. Because once I got them, things got better in a hurry. And I think you can teach anybody those things. When I say anatomy, it doesn't have to be figure drawing nudes. It is just a basic way of breaking down the human figure in a reproducible and understandable way. So I'm going to work hard on improving that here and on the blog, but there are some resources available there. And if you're looking for recommendations, I do have a recommended reading list. It's all stuff I've consumed. It's a lot of it are artists I know and can vet for. So if you're looking for that, please check out the sidebar of the blog. It's a little bit further down. So a lot of people do take online art education for granted. It's like we owe you guys this. None of you wonderful viewers do, but there are other people who definitely do. They're not willing to support it. They're not willing to fund it, but they have no problem consuming it. A lot of us are putting this out there not because we can't teach, but because it is important for us to make this available to the widest audience possible. And we're offering it for free, not because we wouldn't love to be paid for it, but because no one is willing to fund it outright. So if you are a fan of this sort of content, and it doesn't have to be mine, I just say this sort of content, you should really consider backing the artist's Patreon or showing your support by purchasing their work. Many people who do art education online sell their originals, offer commissions, sell comics, or do freelance work. So if you're in a position, even if you've only got $15 to spend, if you're in a position to pick up some of their some of the work that they've worked on, some of their passion projects, you should really do so. You can also learn a lot just by looking and reading their stuff. My first comic education just came from reading the comics that I had purchased. You can't just attain this stuff without reading it. Other ways you can help in that regard are request that your library bring that artist in to do talks, or at least carry their books. Request, if you are in school, request your teacher to bring that artist in or do a Skype interview. Many artists are willing to do a Skype interview. And just talk their work up to your friends. That can help out a lot, and it doesn't have to cost anything. So we've talked a little bit about online art education. There's also in-person art education. Of course, there are art teachers, but many art teachers, especially at public schools, especially at the K through 12 level, have never been required to take any actual art classes. They're required to take art education classes, which are greatly different. Yes, it might make you a wonderful teacher. It might give you the polish that you need, but unless you're actively drawing, sketching, and learning more about art, you're not an artist, and you're not truly teaching art. You're just teaching a way to teach art. If you rely on handouts that other people have created in order to teach art, you're not really an art teacher. You're just the adult in the room making sure everybody does their work. That said, I have also known many, many, many art teachers who were artists, who went home and drew, who went home and sculpted, who went home and did their fiber arts, and they were able to bring so much more to their classrooms than the art teachers who were just, I went and got an art education degree, but I don't keep a sketchbook. I know way too many of those. It's heartbreaking. If you are one of those art education teachers, the sort who does not consider themselves an artist, one of the biggest favors you can honestly do for your class is to bring in practicing artists to come and talk to them frankly about what they do. They can add so much to your classroom discussions, and it'll honestly make you look a lot better because people, you're dealing with kids, right? Kids judge coolness, kids judge value by who they and who you associate with. If you're associating with professionals, they're going to assume you know your stuff. It isn't going to make you look like less. Unfortunately, there are many teachers who fear that if they bring in someone who's more knowledgeable about their field, it's going to make them look like less. That is just not the case. If you handle it in a mature manner, if you give them the respect and the accolades they deserve, it's just going to make you look better, and it's going to set a wonderful example for your students. Right now, we have a problem where we have two generations who are afraid to talk about the people they admire because they feel like it's going to make them look like less. And all it really makes them seem like is they've grown up in a vacuum, that they're ignorant and that they don't bother to do their research or their work. So let's break that chain. Let's bring in people who know what they're talking about. And I'm going to work on that in the next year. It has always been a dream of mine to have more guests on this channel. What has stopped me is just proximity. I want to be there with the guests. I want to have a conversation with the guest. This is the reason why we do so many artist interviews on this channel, is to introduce you guys to the wide variety of ideas, abilities, skills, and ways of thinking. There is not just one way to think, and there's not just one way to teach. So if you are in a position where you can introduce people to someone else who might know more about a specific topic than you do, you really ought to consider it. And if you can't afford to pay them, there are often many ways that you can work out an agreement that is suitable to all parties. Don't let financial considerations keep you from asking and trying. The worst they're going to say is no. And you're going to be in the same position you were in before, so that's fine. Many of us would be more than happy to donate our time or to work out a deal. I would love to have some of my illustrations up in some classrooms to help inspire kids. That might be, the payoff for me. If I come in and teach your kids this skill set, let me put my pages up in your classroom for 2 weeks. Or let me hand out my cards. Maybe their parents will enjoy my work and would want to buy my book. There are usually ways that you can compromise. You shouldn't be afraid to ask or to find out. It's not going to make you seem like less. I was discussing doing workshops for teens with one of the teen librarian at the New Orleans Library, and the big concern was, well, we can't pay you. That's fine. We'll work something else out. My mom can go sell books in the back of the thing, and if nobody buys, that's fine. Just give me that opportunity, There are many artists who are just trying to make a way for themselves, just trying to build up a catalog of work, just trying to build up a catalog of experiences, or who genuinely feel fulfilled teaching others. Just maybe that's enough for some of them. And, for others, that's not enough, and they have bills to pay, and that's not going to help them achieve their goals. So just be understanding if they say no. And some of them might even ask you for like a receipt of donation. So what your association, what your school, what your library would normally pay someone, and that way they could claim it on their taxes as a charitable donation. So for some, that is worthwhile, and it's worth mentioning. Most people are willing to bargain or to compromise. So I think we've talked about art education as an art service. Now we're going to talk about commissions and public appearances. So you guys know that I am a convention artist, and I co-run How to Be a Con Artist with Kiriska. And for those of you who are interested in learning how to table at cons, how to prepare for your first show, or where to get your materials made, you can check out howtobeaconartist.tumblr.com for more information. That is also an art service. We are providing art education. You did not teach that yourself. You read what we wrote. Which is fine, but please own it, because you're helping us out when you own it. When you tell other people that's where you found it, they'll come check us out. You're helping us out. When you deny knowledge of other sources that taught you how to create art, if you want to act like you made it up all out of your own head, like you're Zeus giving birth to all these things, which you clearly did not, you're cheating the people who taught you. So please keep that in mind. Anyway, convention artist, right? Okay, so I do a lot of shows. I do a lot of anime shows. I do a lot of indie shows. I am physically there in person with all my stuff. I'm representing my work. Everything on the table is me. On a rare occasion, there are some anthologies that I'm in, and I will usually disclose that. And there are some backgrounds that my friend Alex did for a few of my prints. I paid him to do that. He was commissioned to do that, but I do mention that he did it since he does have his own business, Tiger Eye Adventure Company, on Etsy. You guys might want to check that out. He makes these really cute pride buttons, so that is, if that sounds like your jam, you should go check him out. And he is also a patron, so I am more than happy to promote his work, but we've also been friends for a really long time, so you know, anything I can do to help my buddy out. But anyway, most of the stuff on the table is me, and I'm there to represent it. I do like having assistants, mostly for company, but sometimes when a con gets really busy, it takes 2 or even 3 people to run the table. I take commissions. I sell copies of 7-inch Kara. I have original watercolor paintings for sale, and I have my original pages. Now, all of those things do more than just generate sales. It generates conversation. It generates questions. In fact, I recently made some promotional artist postcards because so many people want to ask me questions at the table, and I just can't field all of them, and I don't always get to do panels like I would want to, so I give them the postcards so that they can contact me later. That is an art service. I am representing comic art, I am representing my art, I am representing art education, I am representing what you can be, an option in the arts, a way of selling in the arts. When increasingly it seems like our avenues are closing up or people's idea of art is becoming increasingly narrow, I am helping to demonstrate an alternative to that. I also do original art on site. I used to do watercolors, but honestly, people will come back and nag about their watercolor 30 minutes later, and I got tired of fielding that. So now I only offer pencil and ink, pencil as an option, ink as an option, commissions. You are welcome, if you so desire, to hang out at the table off to the side and watch me work. I know a lot of people learn that way. You're always welcome to do that as long as you're not blocking and as long as you're not distracting me from sales. You can ask me questions. I'm more than happy to answer. And increasingly for my mailing commissions, I've started recording them as tutorials here on YouTube because I know many of my customers are artists or interested in becoming artists as well. So that is another service that I offer. And basically, the education aspect of it is gratis. By supporting my work, I am more than happy to include that for you. If you want it sooner rather than later in terms of editing, you might want to throw me $5 and let me know that's what you did, or $10. But otherwise, you know, it'll be out in a couple of months and you can watch what I did. And if you want a tutorial, just let me know at the time that you'd like me to go over what I'm doing. So those are also services, and when you commission me, you're getting an original piece of art. It's one of a kind. It was drawn for you of what you want. I draw people's characters, I draw their OCs, I draw their favorite characters, I draw their favorite ships, I draw people's kids, I draw people, I draw couples, I draw pets. Pretty much anything that you want that is safe for work, I am more than happy to draw custom for you. And I also do custom watercolors. This is a fantastic way to have art in your house that has actual meaning and significance to you. So many people do have art up in their house, but it's generic. I bought this from Michael's, I brought this print from Walmart, you know, it's just like filler. But for only like $10 more in most cases, you can get an original one-of-a-kind piece from me and have the benefit of knowing that you help support an artist. So many people think we're unreasonable for requesting that you support us in this manner. But what we're trying to do is we're trying to give you something that you can enjoy for a lifetime. If I draw your children, you're always going to treasure that drawing, especially if it's a watercolor. It is always going to have value. It will increase in value in your heart for years as your children grow and no longer are those adorable little kiddos that I drew for you all those years ago. That's going to have meaning that increases over years. Whereas a print from Walmart, a print from Michael's, a print from Kirkland's, a print from some crummy buy my hippie art that isn't even their hippie art magazine or catalog, you're going to get rid of that in 5 years when you redecorate the house. It's not going to match your sofa. It never had any significance to begin with. If you're the sort of person who enjoys having religious iconography up in your house, there are many artists, myself included, who you can commission for that sort of art. And we will create something that has meaning to you in a style that's a little more contemporary. Why are you supporting Renaissance artists who have been dead for 400 years, whose work is now in the public domain? You could literally just print that off your computer if you really wanted to. Why are you paying money for that when you could pay a real living human being with hopes and dreams and needs to support for when you could pay them for something that only you will have. You will get to enjoy the fact that you have this custom, beautiful piece of art that has religious significance to you, that has spiritual significance to you. I mean, if you want, I'll paint Jesus with your children at his knees. Think about how, if that is something that appeals to you, think about how much value that will have for you in 5 years. Or I'll paint your grandchildren in the same manner. I can make it so that the little children at his feet are the little children that you love dearly. Doesn't that sound so much more appealing than something you picked up at Walmart? Doesn't that sound so much more appealing than, the same reheated Renaissance paintings that are on your missalette? Art as a service, what we're doing is we're serving you. Many of us work on commission. Many of us will take requests for future work. We are making things that are for you, to give value to your life, to help you make the things in your home have meaning to you. And it just breaks my heart that people think we're just beggars, or we're just trying to finagle money out of them, or, they just increasingly devalue what we do while trying to consume it for free. Like those webcomic people. You wouldn't believe how many of my friends make beautiful webcomics and they never get a single comment. No one ever says anything. And then when they take their comic off the internet because they never got any sort of response at all, people are like, they're really butthurt about it. They're really upset because this thing that they loved is gone. But they never bothered to say anything the whole time. They watched it die. If you enjoy art as a service, if you consume art as a service, please be vocal in your enjoyment. So many of you have been really wonderful, letting me know how much you enjoy the Art Snacks versus Sketchbox reviews that I did this year. Some of you said it's your favorite of the videos, and I really appreciate you telling me. But I asked you guys, if you want me to continue something like that, there are 2 ways you can do it. You can write to Art Snacks and Sketchbox and let them know how much you enjoy those videos, because I've told them you love it and they don't care what I say, but they might care what you say. You can let them know how influential my words and my work are to your enjoyment. That will have meaning. That will have value. I don't have a large audience, so you guys need to be vocal about the things you love. Another way you can do it is you can go join my Patreon and let me know that that is something that you're paying money for, that that is something you want to continue to see. And to join my Patreon, it starts at $2. That's $2 a month. I don't charge per item. I charge per month. It's a subscription thing. I'm not even charging you the price of 1 cup of coffee. And you could help create the sort of content that you enjoy seeing me do, that helps you, that educates you. Art as a service is a 2-way street, and I'm running on empty because I have given a lot of myself to help you guys, to educate you guys, to give you guys entertainment and enjoyment. So I need you guys to do your part as the other half of that service. Anyway, I didn't mean to get down. I did want to present some ways. There are a lot of ways that art is a service to others, that art is an act of giving to others, because people don't really see it that way so much anymore. If you guys enjoy my services, you can leave a comment and let me know that. You could tell your friends how much you enjoy the things I create. That helps me out immensely. Make sure you tag me. I will always retweet it. I do always see when you guys do that. It means a lot. I would love to see more of that. More of that would be super duper helpful. You can throw some money in the artist direction. You can throw some positivity. Right now, a lot of us are really concerned about the economy. We just don't have the money to support one another the way we would like. But here are some ways you can support without spending additional money. You can watch the ads that come on before YouTube videos. You can turn off your ad blocker on sites that you enjoy. We're not going to give you a virus. You're going to get a virus from scanlation sites. That is the truth. Please turn them off when you're consuming webcomics. Do not read webcomics that have been reposted to scanlation sites. Please go to the source. If you're reblogging or retweeting or signal boosting art, please do so from the artist. Please do not remove the credit from the artist. You are hurting them. It's like you're cutting off our fingers. You're severing our heart. You're making our work worthless to us. You're making us hate what we do when you do that. Seriously. You can use, if we have them, our affiliate links when you're shopping on Amazon. You don't have to purchase the thing we linked. Just use the link we started with. We will still see a bounty from that, and it will not cost you any additional money. When you do have money, you can commission us to do one-of-a-kind pieces for you. If you, this Christmas, maybe think artsy. Maybe think commissions. Maybe think comics for your little ones. I do a children's comic, 7-inch Care, the first volume, which is out. It's beautiful. It's in watercolor. I love it. It's my baby. It's my heart. If you love this, please consider ordering that. It's available in my shop at natosoup.com/Kara-comic or gumroad.com/natosoup. That is why I do these things, because that's the thing I love. So if you enjoy my services, if you enjoy any artist services, please actually consider the ways we request that you support us. We need that reciprocal relationship. When we are putting out a lot of energy, a lot of effort, a lot of goodness into the world, and you're just taking it like a black hole, and that doesn't fulfill us. When you're just taking without any sort of conversation, without any sort of dialogue, you're hurting us. So please, just take a moment to say a kind word. Take a moment to share with your friends. Just think about us as humans, because that's what we are. We're not machines, and we don't have outside sponsorship, most of us. And, don't just assume our Patreon covers everything. I mean, head over to mine and see. My patrons have been extremely generous. I couldn't ask for more from them, but it's not enough to pay my bills. So if you enjoy my work, watch the ads, read my comic, click my Patreon. Anyway, I'm sorry that turned into a shill, but there really seems to be a serious divide between what people understand. Just like there's a serious divide between artists who are self-educated and artists who claim, who have, what do I mean by that? There is a serious divide between the artists who claim to be self-taught and don't credit the people who actually went to the effort of putting material out there so that they could learn these things, they could educate themselves, and the artists who are putting themselves out there and sharing things and being generous and donating their time to educate others who might not otherwise have been able to afford that education. So if you're in that position where you are a self-taught artist, perhaps adopt the term self-educated. Has many of the same connotations without implying that you were just born, fully formed, knowing these things, because you weren't. We all learn from each other. And maybe take a moment to signal boost some of the artists who took the time to teach you or whose work influences you the most. You would be helping them out a lot, and it wouldn't make you lose face. So I've gone on for far too long. This was the 21st Art SoundOff. I did get a bit preachy. I apologize for that. Nokus Fest was a hard weekend. I spent a lot of energy and didn't necessarily get a lot in return, so I'm a little tender right now. This is my way of trying to make a difference based on my bad experiences from last weekend. The staff were wonderful. They were very kind to me, but just people weren't getting around. There wasn't much of a crowd. Artists weren't able to get up and talk to each other. I didn't make enough to even be able to go around and buy the way I would normally do. And I think that's what's going on with a lot of the artists there. We're just too broke right now. But there are other ways we can show support, and I should have done that. I should have made the time to do that. So I will see you guys tomorrow for November 22nd's Art SoundOff. I'll see you guys later. Bye.